Today, we're building a real-time event streaming pipeline completely for free. We're going to spin up Apache Kafka cluster, create a schema registry, generate a stream of logistics data, and visualize it all in a live Python dashboard in less than 5 minutes. If you've ever wanted to learn event-driven architecture, or if you have a side project that needs enterprise-grade data infrastructure, but you don't want to pay enterprise-grade prices, this video is for you. Usually when we talk about enterprise infrastructure, like Kafka or managed Postgres, we associate it with high costs or complex local setups that involve Docker Compose files that eat up your RAM. But the landscape is changing. Avon just launched a unified developer tier that effectively democratizes access to these tools with a $0 free tier for managed Kafka. This is big. It means that the same stack used by Fortune 500 companies is now accessible to students, developers, and prototypers without needing a budget approval. Make sure to watch till the end because I will walk you through the exact approach I used, how to create the environment, and how to visualize the data in real time. Also, there is a cool competition for the coolest prize on the free tier with a $5,000 prize. Definitely check that out. I will show you how to go from zero to a running pipeline that you can actually use for your portfolio or your next MVP. Let's start with the basics. Why Kafka? If you're building modern applications, you know that data isn't static. It's moving. Whether it's user clicks, IoT sensors, or in our case today, logistics updates from shipping containers, you need a way to handle that stream reliably. Traditionally, setting this up was a pain. We would spend hours configuring Zookeeper, brokers, and networking. Today, we're going to use a free managed service to do the heavy lifting. I'm logged into the Avon console. I'm going to create a new service. I selected Apache Kafka, and right here, I'm selecting the free plan. This isn't a trial that expires in 14 days. It's a free tier that lets you build and test indefinitely. While that spins up, it takes a few minutes. Let me paint a picture of what we are building. Imagine you are building a logistics tracking system. We have carriers moving goods between New York, Dublin, London, Berlin. We need to ingest that data, validate it to make sure it's not garbage, and display it on a map for our operations team. To do this, we need three things: the broker to receive and store the messages, the schema to define the structure of our data, the producer, and the consumer, the Python app to read the data and visualize it. It sounds complex, but with the right tools, it's actually very straightforward. Okay, our service is running. Once this service is running, we need data. Now, normally, you would have to write a producer script to get the data into your topic. But to test it, look at this. On the overview page, there is a Start Data Stream button. I click that and it gives me options: logistics, user activity, metrics. I'm choosing logistics, which matches our dashboard use case perfectly. Next, it asks to enable the schema registry. This is the open source schema registry. We don't need to configure it manually. The wizard enables it and sets up the REST proxy for us automatically. We can even review the Avro schema right here. It defines our time UTC, tracking ID, and state. I'll set the duration to anywhere from 15 minutes to 4 hours and hit Start Data Stream. Just like that, we have live schema-validated data flowing into our topic called Logistics Data Gen. Now, let's look at the code. We've built a simple dashboard using Streamlit. Streamlit is amazing for this because we can build a real data UI entirely in Python without touching HTML or CSS. Here's the setup in app.py. We're using Confluent Kafka to connect to our cluster. First, look at the configuration. I'm using a random UUID for the group ID. We also configure the schema registry client. This points to our schema registry URL and uses the authentication credentials we got from the console. Then there is logic in the main loop. We use consumer.poll to check for new messages every second. When we get a message, we don't just read it as text. We use the Avro deserializer. This deserializer talks to the schema registry, grabs the schema, and automatically converts the binary Kafka message to a nice, usable Python dictionary. If the data doesn't match the schema, it errors out here, protecting your app. Once we have the data, we do a quick lookup. I have a dictionary location codes mapping airport codes like NYC, DUB, and LON to their latitude and longitude. We enrich the message with those coordinates so we can plot it on the map. Finally, we update our Streamlit state. I'm keeping the rolling buffer of the last 100 events to keep our UI clean. We render three things: a bar chart showing which carriers are the most active, a live map showing where the cargo is heading, and a raw data table so we can inspect the event stream. Let's see it in action. I'm going to start a script in the background so that generates our logistics data and pushes it to our event topic. Now I run Streamlit run app.py. And there it is. The dashboard pops up, system connected, waiting for new events. Now we see the bars starting to grow. The latest carrier metric is updating in real time. And on the map, we see dots appearing over New York, London, Berlin. This isn't just a static database query, it's a live stream. So if I stop the producer, the dashboard stops. And if I ramp up the speed, the dashboard races to catch up. So we just built a real-time analytics platform, and we did it with free infrastructure. So why is this a big deal? For a long time, if you wanted to learn those patterns, event sourcing, streaming, schema validation, you had to pay expensive cloud bills or fight with local setups. That can be difficult, and you spend a lot of time on it. So this new free tier changes the calculus for the three types of people. The learner. If you're a student, you now have a sandbox. You can learn on the exact same stack that Netflix or Uber uses. You aren't simulating the tech, you are using the real thing. If you're the hobbyist, you are an indie hacker, you can spin up a free $5 Postgres and a Kafka cluster and ship your MVP in a weekend. So you stop paying for idle instances and you just get enterprise reliability for the price of basically a coffee. If you're a prototyper, so a professional, how often do you want to test an architectural idea? This allows you to build frictionless proof of concepts. You can prove your value first and then scale. My recommendation is to try it out. Go to the service, spin up a free Kafka cluster, and try to connect a simple Python agent to it. See what it feels like to have your data moving in real time. Whether you're building a logistics tracker, a chat app, or an AI agent pipeline, having managed data infrastructure for free is a massive leverage point. It allows you to focus on your code and not so much on your ops. And if you have questions about schema registry or Kafka in general, send them to me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear what you think. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.